Yellari Namaskara. Good evening to all of you. It is always difficult to conduct a session at the fag end of the seminar with a seriously eroded number of audience. And that should be a warning signal for our institute when we look forward to the future of strategic management accounting career. Without wasting further time, because we have, the challenge of time management. I and my wife, we both are members of this institute. We have been consulting in the area of strategic management accounting for now almost 3.5 decades. And therefore, my objective today is to present the real cases, the real application of strategic management accounting in the industry. I think that should be of value addition and especially a reward for the members of the audience who could sit to the end of the seminar and should be expecting some value contribution. When Mahindra & Mahindra launched their ambitious vehicle called Scorpio, the very first debate was an example of strategic management accounting. Now, what was that? The company was in a dilemma. Should we promote Scorpio as a mother brand, as a big brand, much bigger than Mahindra? Or should we look at Scorpio as an ROI earner, that Scorpio should give us fabulous ROI? Now, this was a clear-cut comparison between the long-term earning power of a brand called Scorpio and a short-term assurance of a minimum ROI. Friends, I just started with this example, but before I proceed further, I think as a presenter, this becomes my humble duty to look at these three words, strategic management accounting. I've been attending all these sessions in morning, but then I think let us not talk round about the bush. Management accounting is accounting analysis, supporting management decisions, simple meaning of management accounting. But then what is strategic management accounting? Many years back, I wrote a monograph on strategic management accounting for our institute, many years back. Strategic management accounting is management accounting analysis of the viability of a strategy, a business strategy. And the other side of the coin is, which is interesting, is the strategic application of management accounting. So management accounting assessment of a strategy and strategic application of management accounting. I think that should be pretty clear. Now, I shall present my thought process with 6 examples. I started with Scorpio. Now, the decision was taken that we should look at Scorpio as a mother brand. And then, as we refer to AI half an hour back, there was no AI 20 years back. But then some projections were made. How Scorpio as a brand shall be our major earning agent, earning power, earning engine. See, a long-term analysis, we call it life cycle costing, life cycle pricing, and life cycle predictions. On the other side, if this is so, the first 3 years of branding Scorpio were with the loss of ROI. The average ROI of Mahindra Group that time was around 21%. Now, Scorpio was to be launched with a loss of ROI, and therefore it was equated to the WACC, weighted average cost of capital, that was around that time 13% for Mahindra & Mahindra. Now, where is the strategic management accounting here? The strategy is brand versus today's ROI. Where do I look for? The management accounting analysis was predicting the brand earning power. Therefore, brand valuation going to be a big intangible asset in the informal balance sheet of Mahindra & Mahindra versus an ROI. Now, this was resolved We did a lot of analysis. I was on the committee of Scorpio, and we presented that to the management. Decision was taken, yes, Scorpio should be a mother brand. The second example is interesting from the same automobile industry. I'll be sharing with you 6 examples, 2 each from one industry. The second example is of a Bangalore-based company here, Continental Automotive Spare Part, okay, which is a subsidiary of Continental Germany. They took over the automotive business of Siemens because Siemens wanted to withdraw from this business. Now, what was the challenge in Continental? Another application of strategic management accounting. The Continental Automotive Spare Parts, globally known. Now, there was a reference made in the afternoon that management accounting is not only to do with numbers, it is much more than numbers. What is that much more than numbers? Is the strategic application, which is highly intangible, qualitative, okay, and therefore difficult to gauge and gauge. The structure of Continental is a business vertical structure. 3 major auto component verticals, business verticals, each vertical head reporting to a global head for that component, that business, responsible for target, product guidance, R&D, and the vertical wise ROI. He was responsible to the global head, okay, sitting in the headquarters, global headquarters. But the challenge was, how do we create homogeneity, okay, for an India story, India Continental. Imagine Tata Motors, Mahindra & Mahindra, Bajaj Auto, TAFE, any such automobile company approaching Continental for 3 different products from 3 different, what you call, verticals. Okay, is there a combined approach handling a customer? The challenge here was each business vertical was responsible, the head of the vertical was responsible for his own ROI. And that created a human problem across Continental. These verticals started pressurizing the production centers. Pehle supply mujhe chahiye. I want the supply first. Why? Because I am responsible for my vertical, my ROI, my sustainability, my profitability, etc. And this was a huge human problem. And the problem on the other side was from the customers. A customer was expecting entire Continental to come to Tata Motors, entire Continental to come to Mahindra & Mahindra and present the complete, what you call, basket of commodities, basket of products. That was not exactly happening. So here the challenge was for a management accountant like me, how do I retain the verticalization, the advantage of verticalization, global advantage, vis-a-vis customer satisfaction and India ROI, India story. Okay, so all verticals together, products together. Plus the other challenge was absolutely a proper production planning on the front of the production centers, the factories, the plants. So this is the second example of application of SMA, strategic management accounting. I now take you to next 2 examples from the food industry. FMCG example. Marico. Marico has got 2 major products. Now the challenge here was these 2 major products would bring in 60% of top line sales and almost 55% of profit. The challenge was brand extension, product extension, and diluting the dominance of these 2 products. Why? Because in strategy we always say, how diversified is your product mix? Your product mix should be reasonably diversified. If it is over diversified, then the challenge is managing so many products. Their costing, pricing, okay, they're complementing each other, etc., etc. If it is not adequately diversified, then you have a Corona, COVID-like problem. During Corona, couple of my Marwari friends into business, okay, before Corona, they used to sell only luxury products. During Corona, there was no demand for luxury products. We were all waiting for the Corona to be over. Naturally, a product mix would have to be for, a longer sustainability. And that was the problem inside Marico. That you need to look at your dominant products, that they do not become over dominant, and therefore your product mix is well balanced. Now here to convince the management, we applied 3 approaches, management accounting approaches: product ROI, people ROI, and process ROI. If there are common processes making these products, okay, each product, like the contribution theory, the key factor theory that we learn in management accounting. But we converted that into 3 types of ROI: product ROI, process ROI, and people ROI. Now, you assess these products on these 3 fronts of 3 different ROIs. The next example is of Hindustan Lever. Hindustan Lever has got 42 factories across India. And the challenge was human resource management challenge. And what was that? The Hindustan Lever labor union presented to the management that all workers at all the factories should be given equal wages. The union was with a communist background. Of course, I don't have any political ideology. The challenge was the union expecting common wages, no productivity linkage, no planned profitability linkage. Now, the management accounting application here was, can we treat each factory initially as a profit center and then as an investment center? In management accounting, you must have learned a topic called responsibility budgeting, responsibility accounting. So, can we define a responsibility budget for each factory so that the factory is initially treated as a profit center and then it becomes an investment center?